So this is the Khoodeelaar television channel being broadcast on the internet under the banner of Baby Angel Geronimo Manifesto editions, accompanied by the Baby Angels Kajiwan and her family from 1978 to today, 2024. The repercussions, the consequences, the follow-ups, etc., of the ouster of Sue Gray from the post as the chief of staff in the Keir Starmer fronted regime in number 10 Downing Street is not being consistent. But my observation at this stage, immediately within 24 hours, is that the replacement, McSwiney, will not last in that post for very long, as I predicted that Keir Starmer will also not be in that post for very long. The only significant thing that is contextually being mentioned in Fleet Street on Tuesday, the 8th of October 2024, that is today, is that the corrupter Wahid Ali is under investigation by a House of Peers so-called regulatory investigations unit. And this is pointed out by the Daily Mail of Tuesday, the 8th of October 2024, that the only other person that is being investigated by the same outfit in the House of Peers is, of course, Michelle Mone. Michelle Mone, the thief that stole millions and millions and millions under the pretext of providing COVID personnel kind of usable materials which never were delivered. There are yet no references to the actual details. It's not in the Daily Mail. I think it's in the Spectator. The Spectator is the one that is commenting on Wahid Ali being under investigation, and the only other member of the House of Peers, former member of the House of Peers, that was investigated was Michelle Mone. But that piece in the Spectator is not really very deep. It's a kind of sarcastic piece, and it is not well informed, and there is hardly anything contextually deep about the entirety of the administration, the so-called executive fronted by the political murderer of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer. In fact, the main venom that Keir Starmer seems to be issuing as a diversion from the various problems that he's surrounded by in the sleaze, freebies, and cronyism and corruption in Downing Street is to echo the Zionist Netanyahu's agenda and issue warnings against Iran. That seems to be the kind of topical thing that has been managed topical meaning the 7th of October 2023, is being observed in the United Kingdom, including by The Guardian, as the anniversary of when the Hamas attack took place on Israel. But apart from Keir Starmer saying that he will support Israel, he's also saying that he will not hesitate. He will not hesitate from attacking Iran if Iran threatens Israel. It seems quite clear that the USA and the United Kingdom are already engaged in the attack on Iran by Israel. So they are escalating the war against the Muslims, against Iran, against the Palestinians, and against the Yemenis and others in the region. And this is going to be getting worse because the State of Israel, the Zionist State of Israel, was a conception which was given realization by the British Arthur Balfour, in 1917. So the United Kingdom has got absolutely severe responsibility for the existence of the genocidist, massacring Zionist State of Israel. So we shall be talking about all of these as things get worse and the information is available of the latest worsening state of the attacks against the Iranians and against the Muslims, etc. Now, going back to the question of Muslim and anti-Muslim and non-Muslim, the Narendra Modi regime and establishment in India is promoting the line that Sheikh Hasina was ousted on the 5th of August 2024 from the post as Prime Minister of Bangladesh by forces that are hostile to secular Bangladesh. Now, this is a multi-layered pack of lies. The word secular is a complete and utter absolute criminality because the most often cited word or phrase that has been in use for the last 100 years has been that anything that the Muslims say about the rights of the Muslims in the subcontinent is against the secular ideals. And then anything that the Brahminists, the Hindutva promoters say is secular. How very sick-makingly corrupt and dishonest. For 100 years plus, the Hindutva ideology has been promoted and it has been given the label of secular. Right across India, even long before anyone ever heard of Narendra Modi, even when the so-called liberal Jawaharlal Nehru and the Nehru family was the most prominent political kind of dynasty in the decades after the 1947 events or settlements. Hindutva ideology has been dominant in the Indian political, administrative, parliamentary, and media fields. So we shall be talking about all of those in detail as the evidence of deteriorating state in the subcontinent is available, accessible. As far as Dominic Lyson and his rejection of the congenital liar, he is not calling him congenital liar. I am calling Boris Johnson congenital liar. The Johnsons call for the holding of a referendum on whether the United Kingdom should reject the ECHR. Now, Dominic Lyson is saying that that is a joke. And in concluding, in reaching the conclusion, he's saying that the ECHR is not really the main thing because under Tony Blair's administration, the United Kingdom passed a Human Rights Act. And that most of the decisions that are consistent with the obligations of the Human Rights Act are being made domestically, not by the European Court of Human Rights, but in the United Kingdom. And the fact that they are being made by British judges means that calling for the referendum or a referendum for the scrapping of the ECHR is doubly redundant. The actual issues that need dealing with, according to Dominic Lyson, are within the United Kingdom's existing ratification. Because in the 1998 Human Rights Act in the United Kingdom, which came into force a few years later, all the key principles that the ECHR actually require a signatory country to be implementing are contained. Well, the human rights legislation, regardless of whether it's the 1998 Human Rights Act or any of the other kind of treaties and charters, etc., that flow from the European Convention of Human Rights and the United Kingdom's ratification of those, are not 100% in accord with the original published aims and objectives. The domestic or signatory countries always have more say than they should have if the real aims of the human rights legislation and conventions are to be implemented and to be seen to be implemented. So we shall be talking about all of those in due course. There is a book by the racist moron called John Sopel. John So Awful is best mates with his co-perpetrator, the news agents, Emily Maitlies. So John Awful has written a so-called book called Strange Land. And in a review in the Sunday Times magazine supplement, there is a very good review of that. It is completely shallow and stupid and contradictory. And John So Awful is taken apart by the reviewer in the supplement. And the most significant point that I noticed in that review is that the reviewer makes the pointedly points out that John Sofer Awful communicates mainly with his mate, Emily Maitlies. So it seems that little by little, very, very slowly, but little by little, the mythology about Emily Maitlies as a journalist is going to be fragmenting and being exposed as a sham. So we shall be talking about all of these in due course as well. Ending this particular one at 15 minutes, just under 16 minutes at 4:47 GMT on Tuesday, the 8th of October 2024.